Is this thing on?
Yeah, I've been waiting
I
on
can
somebody.
never get enough volume.
I've been waiting on somebody on that end of the call there to do it one of these days.
Is someone going to make the introductions as well?
Huh?
Introduction?
Dude, we haven't done introductions for months.
Let's get on it.
Because everybody knows who we are. We're just so popular.
That's right. We are.
Yes, that is true.
I am the redheaded wonder of the Hillbilly broadcast.
Are you?
I don't even know where to go from there.
Dude, you're going to make your wife cry.
Oh, gosh. I guess. I've been emotional all day. Okay. And then...
we don't even do that anymore.
She's not starting to tear up, is she?
Yes, I'm crying already.
Wait, have you been going from the show that long? That
We're not doing them anymore?
we haven't done them for months.
That's ridiculous.
I still come on and say that
Yes, he
I'm the
does.
sensual fireman.
To be fair, okay, so we have 25%. We have half of the show that wants us to do it.
That is so last year, dude.
That was like 27 days ago.
Yeah.
The angels are flying too close to the ground is not here.
Oh, you're talking about Mariah. Yeah. There we go.
Correct, yeah.
That's like,
And homeless Canaan is over there. Homo Canaan.
oh,
That was good.
Wow,
That was
shots
good.
fired, dude.
Homo
I
Kane.
forgot about the bell.
Oh, homo Canaan.
I was literally...
How did you guys figure it out? Goodness.
Because you like to spoon with my
Oh, my
husband.
goodness.
I don't know, Cannon. You gave me a
well,
couple hints over the years.
Yeah, you know.
So I was listening to Joe Rogan earlier today.
Uh-huh.
Was you?
He had...
Were you really?
How does it feel to be on that side of it?
Thank you. Thank you. Someone supports me.
So he had this guy on, and this guy has a bone to pick with Google and all these big tech companies and all that.
Okay.
And his whole thing that he does is talking about people's privacy, like how much Google gets into your life. And it was pretty interesting. It was really interesting. It was quite the episode. This guy, he's testified before Congress and all this, that, and the other. And what was weird, though, was I think it was yesterday, I go sneaking through one of my multiple email accounts, and I see that Google has sent me an email, and I knew they did this to a certain extent, but I'm not kidding. I mean, you could see this here.
Okay.
Phil, here's your 2021 timeline update. Google
Google Maps.
Try it again. Google Maps timeline. Okay.
Okay.
Now I've seen them send me this on a monthly basis before. Be like, here's your location history. Well, on this one here, if you look right there, that's every place
That you have been.
every general area that I've been in 2021.
Okay, that's scary.
There's where I went to Indiana.
There's multiple times you've been in Indiana.
For some reason,
Columbus?
they have me pinned in Columbus. I don't think they must have
we
caught us
went
on the
through.
trip out there. We
Yeah.
stopped at someplace there.
Yep. Oh, that's creepy.
Look at this
Dude,
here.
that's crazy, dude.
They've got me down around Charleston. I don't know what this was all about. I don't even remember what this was. And I visited 51 cities. They're keeping track of all this.
And 12 of them are new locations.
yes,
Let's see if I
Like
got
this
one.
is
Man, Phil, you
weird.
are quite the traveler.
dude.
It says he's been to 361 places, and 164 of these places are new.
Oh, and you want to? Okay, so we scroll on down. I've traveled enough to go 1.2 times around the world. They have the mileage that I traveled, 30,000 miles.
That's scary.
They logged that. And then they put their little propaganda in there. Low emission travel, which I'm very proud to say I traveled 7 miles of low emission travel last year.
Saving the environment. All about climate change.
Yeah. And then right down here, I'm not kidding. Here's a link to click on. Learn more about climate change.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So then you go on down. Here's when my biggest travel times of the year were. So they're keeping track of all that. Here's where the hours that I spent at shopping places. They've got that broken down.
So when you've gone shopping, like this Walmart and stuff like that?
Yeah, apparently
You've spent more time shopping than you have eating. Look at you.
March was my biggest shopping for some. Here's food and drink, which we all know I spend most of the time places that sell food.
Yes.
Cities visited. Here's pictures from the different cities. Okay.
This is strange. I've never seen Robinson Grand Performing Theater. We went to see.
Yeah. There's the Barber County Museum.
Yep. Philippi Inn where we went for breakfast after we had our ultrasound? Or the
Yes.
appointment for the baby?
Yes.
This is weird.
Oh, and you think that's not scary enough? You scroll on down, your all-time data.
For the places you have visited. Okay.
All time.
Okay.
180 cities. So it's like, it feels like something out of a mafia movie where they're just like...
They put trackers on
where they
there.
just kind of come up and try to gently nudge you and let you know that, hey, we're watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Honestly, that's
I've got
terrifying.
So I didn't get any of that because I've got it all turned off, but I guarantee you they're still tracking me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
They are.
Because they will probably catch where your cell phone pings off of certain things. Because I know that they do that for like criminal shows. But like your cell phone pinged off of this one place.
But that's the way law goes through it. But like with this, man, they just follow your GPS.
Yes.
I mean, you literally are carrying around a tracker, and they don't have to shut the mics off when you're not talking on the phone. Then they can get access to the cameras and everything.
Well, this guy that was on Rogan, so he does a lot of these studies. Like they do these experiments with this stuff to where they'll get... have any of you guys ever heard of the Nielsen ratings?
No.
Yes.
You have? It's like for TV and stuff. So like they'll get certain people to basically report what they watch.
Okay.
And then that's how ratings are traditionally measured. So he started doing that with Google. And basically having people, I think they put something on their computer or something to where they kind of can watch as well. I mean, they agree to it, and so then he's seen like all these different things where Google influences things. But Google can also pick up if you're a fake account. And so they won't give to a fake account because they know it's probably somebody trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh.
But when you go through and you have, like he said, some of their studies has thousands of participants in them. And he said, when you do that, then you really see like all the crap that Google pushes. And he completely blew my mind. He's like, okay, go to Google and type in the letter A. He was talking about their suggested searches. You know, when you start typing something in and it starts bringing stuff up. He's like, go to google.com. Don't do it on your app because it's going to bring up like your history. So just as if you were a brand new person, go to google.com and just start a search with the letter A and tell me what the results are that come up.
That's what John's doing right now?
Yeah, he's pulling it up.
Okay. Kanan, you do it too. We'll all do it.
Okay.
What's your first one, John?
Amazon.
Ding, ding, ding. For everybody. Amazon is their...
mine too.
Amazon is their biggest paid advertiser. When you go to B, so I just started going through it. Almost every one of these were shopping things. Best Buy.
What I've got in Big Lots right below it.
Yeah, and then you went to C. I forget what C was. Bring that up. Carhartt, and there was another one too. So they give you like a certain amount on there. Read off what you've got for C.
Carhartt, Cabela's, COVID symptoms.
So there's their COVID thing they're throwing in there.
Credit Karma, Costco, Craigslist, Chewy.
So you mean to tell me that everybody that's going to type in a search and they just start with the letter C, they're looking for a place to shop? No.
You go to D, Dollar General, Domino's Pizza.
Yes, Domino's Pizza was the first one for me.
Dollar Tree.
And then you start realizing these are all humongous companies with big advertising things. Carhartt, granted, is in the news because of their COVID stance.
Trending right now.
But
what do you think about that?
I think it's kind of crazy.
But people are wanting to either burn the stuff or they're wanting to boycott them.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm too cheap to burn anything that I have Carhartt.
True.
Nor does it...
I agree with that.
Okay, so here's...
Yes, I think that's kind of dumb, honestly, burning it. It's like, you don't give them your money. Just keep it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, just keep it, wear it out, and then go and buy something else.
And like I even posted this after I shared and said this is ridiculous. That if they want to get rid of it, they can just send it to me and they can make it a charitable donation and then we'll give it out to the poor people.
Oh, I'll give it to nobody. If I have a bunch of Carhartt showing up at the house, I'm like,
You're
listen,
funny. Yeah.
I'm as communist as the next person.
That's mine.
Yeah, that's staying with me.
You're 100% right when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, dude. And so, like, he was just using that to kind of show they're pushing the stuff that they want you to see. Those are like their paid advertising. Cabela's, they got a humongous advertising budget. How's come whenever you type in C, it doesn't say cat? You know what I mean? Cat videos or something like that. No. All of a sudden, we're all wanting to see Costco, everybody in the world.
Who wants to see Costco? Some people don't even know about Costco. You know what I mean? It's only like a, West Coast thing?
I don't know.
It would be funny to insert right here.
What?
Is you guys just start screaming and just have me like squalling in the background, shooting a gun like I'm shooting my phone.
Oh my gosh.
Just like insert that little bit. It's like,
I will bring that. I'll post the link to that episode in the show notes if anybody wants to see it. The reason I'm keep turning my head, I'm trying to bring up the guy's name. I just finished listening to this. He's a complete and total dork. And at times it gets a little uncomfortable, and you can tell Joe Rogan at times is like,
okay,
not sure how to respond to him, but it's full of really good information. And the guy's name was
Jeff.
I turned out looking.
That was wonderful. There you go. I look retarded.
John
Thank you.
was quick on the ball there.
well, actually, I actually just hit the wrong button, but it turned out being the right button.
Yeah.
Dr. Robert Epstein's the guy's name. So
You sure it's not Epstein?
they pronounced it Epstein on the show. It's
Of
spelled the
course
exact
they
same
did.
way.
It's Epstein.
Who wants to be related to Epstein at this moment? No one.
You said it's Epstein?
He does not want to be related to
Yes,
Epstein
he wants
because
to be related.
he will suicide himself.
Yeah, he pronounced his name Epstein up until like last year.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to suicide.
If he winds up dead, we know.
Yeah, that really kind of, I don't know, just made me think. And especially when you get these emails, it's kind of terrifying. Like there's times it'll even it'll show me the routes that I took on some of these things. And
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. There's been that facial recognition software for decades. And they've been, anytime that there's a security camera, they've been tracking you even since back then.
yeah, but okay, so I would expect, I'm not happy with it, but I would expect the government to do something like that.
Well,
This is a freaking company.
well, but you know this stuff's getting turned in.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
And that was another thing he hit on. He said from the very beginning, when they started developing Google, they were like basically in talks with some of these various government agencies because the government's not stupid. And they're like, I think he used the example. He's like, if we see people searching how to make a bomb, then we realize we might want to know.
Right.
Okay. But the problem with that is, and most people would be like, yeah, that's reasonable. What if a dude's just curious? Okay.
Exactly. That's not reasonable.
No.
It's not reasonable. Have I made a threat? No.
Not in the last 30 minutes, I haven't.
1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 4. That was a threat. Okay.
But, so it's just like, okay, so say that they could convince me, all right, that's reasonable. But you know how quick crap changes in society nowadays. So what happens when they somehow get all this crap down to where dudes driving pickup trucks and are some kind of national threat? Mm-hmm. And then they just figure, okay, I'm going to keep record of dudes that are figuring out how to fix their 1500 Chevy when it slides over the hill into a tree. Then we know. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Who determines what's good and bad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyhow.
For some people, they'd be very happy. That is a good thing that your truck got totaled.
Well, I mean, it ain't good for the insurance company, but
No, but it's let you have it.
well, it wasn't totaled. But I guess we could talk about the last week's episode.
Yes, let's talk about that.
I need to make an address about the last week's episode.
John needs to make a dress.
It's already the second most popular episode we've ever put up. It's been up like, at the time of recording this, 3 days? Something like that. And we've got some response from it. It's been really nice to...
Like, you're talking lengthy messages, too.
Oh, yeah. We got some
Major
biographies came rolling in.
Yes.
Which I love to get those. I'm glad y'all sent those in. Obviously, it's a topic close to people's heart.
Right.
Either no matter which way they stand. Mm-hmm. In fact, talking about people that disagree with us, I was thinking we should have a tagline for the show. I was thinking we should just providing sermon content since 2021.
Oh, dude.
T-shirt idea.
Yes.
T-shirt idea.
Yes.
There it is.
Which I have been hearing some preachers seem like this has become a pet project of theirs, where they all of a sudden feel the need to start preaching on the old holiness way. It's like, why? Are you facing some backlash or something?
But you know what it really is? An interesting fact.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I asked you.
You realize that nobody...
An interesting fact.
People that don't listen to Ron White have no idea what you just...
I love Ron White.
Well, when Ron White said that, I also didn't get the joke then. And I really didn't get it now.
Well,
Interesting fact.
Ron White quit drinking, which makes him a cleaner living person than my brother John.
Yes, legit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. So anyway.
Oh, man.
We was talking about smoking earlier at work because Dave was down there. And, you know, I said, I like to smoke a cigar now and then. He's like, why? Why do you think you are, Bill Clinton?
Wow. Oh, dude.
That's quite the rebuttal right there. I love how Missy does not care nor think about the feelings of the editors.
I don't either.
I'm married to the man who's the editor.
And obviously, she's sleeping with the editor as well.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, like what else do I have to lose?
For some reason, it's not making my job any easier.
Well, let's just go ahead and flag that moment right
But
there.
it keeps her on the show.
It does.
Wow, we got off topic.
Should we restart that segment? I don't know what to do. What were we on?
You were talking about the messages and John had them pulled up that we had received
I guess,
on the podcast.
I guess we should get back to the Bible after you almost talking like that.
Good idea.
Yeah, we got some really good responses to it, and I would like at some point to have her back on the show. I feel like we only scratched the surface.
Yes.
Which
Oh, yeah.
that was our longest episode, and it was like an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
I like long episodes, but even during a long podcast, you still can't, on something that deep, you can't but just scratch the surface, you know.
Yep.
So I would like to have her back on at some point.
Yes.
And obviously, you know, the people that wrote in, they really liked it. We got some responses from people, and John, maybe you can read some of what they said. Obviously, we'll leave your all's names out of it, just in case. I know some people still have
Yes, specifically like
cover.
Specifically in reference to the last podcast, we got 2 messages over that. 2 people that, believe it or not, ended up being quite connected with a lot of the things that we like grew up around and hearing about.
Yeah.
Like up in Canton, Ohio, and places like that. And I just kind of paraphrase what they, were talking about. One of them even mentioned about Clinton Camp. We told all these stories about Clinton Camp, and of course there's like a generation gap there. But when this person was growing up, they attended Clinton Camp every year. So
we used to come pretty darn close to it. I mean,
yeah, we went every year, but I'm just saying, we wouldn't have like met them probably.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
but like there's that connection. They had connections to people in Indiana.
Well, something else that I've also noticed. I've been talking to one of my buddies that listens to the podcast, and so then me and him will get on the phone and talk about these kind of things for hours. And he doesn't live that far away from me. But the difference in what he's seen out of the holiness movement and what I've seen is like night and day. Like he's like, nah, dude, I didn't see that. Like I'll be naming off something extremely crazy, like some guy, preaching against playing, even changing his style of music because he didn't want to sound like country music anymore or something like that. And he's like, we all kind of looked at him as crazy. And I'm like, what? We looked at him as like the Pope,
Right.
And like I said, he's not that far away from me, but just what he saw was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
In both the messages we got regarding that last episode, they really stressed like how happy they was that to hear other people that come out of the CHM that were, speaking up, and they said, coming out of that and still having like a working relationship with God and like, still moving forward.
Yeah.
Not coming out of it and then just,
a lot of people throw it all away. Yeah. Throw it all away.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Those 2 messages we got, we definitely did read all of them, the complete message. And
wait, maybe for a second. Thankful for your very heavy response. All 2.
Well, hey, I'm making it sound like we've got more than what we have.
No, you said both of the messages that we received.
There were a lot of messages.
We read all of
them, and then I went and corrected myself, said all of the message.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was a correction. Let me mark that. Go ahead, keep going.
So, specifically regarding the messages, the last podcast, we got 2 messages. I'm just going to start this whole bit all over again.
Yes.
No. But to the 2 messages, let me try that one more time. To the messages we did receive on that last episode, we definitely read through them all the way, and we did respond to those 2. We're really happy to get other people that are kind of in the same boat.
Well, it's nice to see people realize you're not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, and, share stories like we did here, and, just see that other people, like you said, that we're not alone, but see that other people's come out of it and are still moving forward and making the right.
Especially when you're sitting there listening to a sermon like aimed at you, like not necessarily in general, but pretty well directly. To this day, like I remember when I first listened to that, I was like, "Oh boy, what'd I do?"
I'm like, let me hear it again.
But that first time I hear it, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to repent of whatever this guy's telling me.
I have no idea why I'm repenting.
Yes. Lord, I don't know why, but I'm so sorry.
See, I'm like the exact opposite. I just want to laugh about it.
Well, and I try, because we do try to do this the best we can and not just rip on people. However, I do think our humor does maybe hit people the wrong way.
Gets dark.
Yeah, you definitely need to put a little,
it can get dark.
A little mark right there to show you. But yes, we do get a little further off the trail.
Yes, there are times, but I still sometimes this day I'll question myself is the correct way to say it, and just try to like take evaluation of my life and where I'm at. And just kind of think back over and it's like, did I get something wrong? Am I the rebellious one? That it's being preached about. But every time, and now if you come at it with an emotional approach, yes, you'll be like, go run screaming back to the nearest holiness church that you can. Run down and
burn it down.
Slide into the altar.
Burn it down, David. Jeez, dude.
Missy actually said that she kind of does the same thing. Just like looking back and making sure that just looking back over her life and seeing, if she did the right thing and everything. And she gets all the way down to where she got married. And she says that was the wrong turn.
What was I thinking? I really should have debated all those 7 men that I was messaging.
You don't know how hard it was to keep a straight face. You didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
I have outbid BS the BSer.
I could have had a better life.
She's not even joking anymore. This is serious.
I could have married Kanan if I would have known his family better.
Bill, put the gun down. Put the gun down.
Oh, man.
I still find myself questioning at times, but whenever I get off the emotional thing and just look at it objectively, I always come to the same conclusion. Always.
Well, I was actually talking to you about it the other day. I got to hang around this guy, and you always are kind of like second guessing yourself, making sure you're doing the right thing. You're not being the rebellious one. You're on the right track. And then all of a sudden, this much stricter person, going to this really conservative church, and you just think that has it all together or whatever. They start opening up and start talking a little bit about their life, and you're like, oh my, okay, well, I'm not doing that.
Yes.
So I'm at least on a much better path than that. You know?
Yes.
So I think getting back to what we were saying, and man, you will have a ton of editing to do just to get back to that. But
you actually made it work pretty smooth.
So I guess coming back around to that is you may have those thoughts and stuff, but like you said, if you kind of look onto it and of course prayer always helps. Pray about it and think about it. And
that's one of the things too. It always bugged me about the rebuttals that we get are. Because they love to set up these straw man arguments and stuff where they're like, I've heard several preachers. They just don't, or they'll say they're going against the direct commandments and principles of God's word. And it's like, no.
That's not how this works.
No. Not how this works. Yeah. You can say that all day long. That doesn't make it any truer. Yeah.
Right.
Because there's not one bone in me that is like, yes, I'm just trying to figure out how I can just go against God. No.
Yeah.
And I heard,
absolutely.
I heard Brian, I forget his last name, from the Recovering Fundamentalist podcast, and he said when he started leaving the IFB, his dad got a hold of him because, of course, he had basically been thrown out by that point. His dad was still an evangelist in the IFB movement, and he said, "Look, if you would just not go so hard against this stuff, they might let you come back." And the way that he answered really kind of summed it up for me. He said, "Look, these are convictions of mine now. These are my beliefs.
Right.
I can't just change those."
And it's sad though, because like a church wanted you to throw away your personal God-given convictions just so you could be accepted into a group that was like not really even doing right themselves, which makes no sense. Like basically, go ahead and lose your soul just so you could be a part of a worldly group. Mm-hmm. That makes no sense.
Well, it's like, so with these preachers and stuff that preach against people that think like us.
Right.
It's like, what do you want me to do? When I read the Bible, that's what I read. That's what's there.
And what's interesting, too, we had talked about this. We were reading one of those messages, and the lady, she was like, yes, the people that have the problems are going to join this other church that's super strict because, they don't like how things are being ministered to and being handled appropriately. Like, for example, Canaan's church. Like, they're really trying and reaching out to people.
Yeah.
But it's not ministering the way that the Holiness Church really wants it to be going.
Right.
So they're going to be like, oh, we're going to go to a stricter church. And, it's sad that you have to deal that way.
It really is.
The response is, oh, you know what? You're ministering too much, so we're going to go ahead and go to a different church.
But that's not what that's not how they say it.
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. They say you're letting down.
You're letting down spiritually. You're letting down your morals. You're letting down convictions, standards. You're no longer standing for the holiness way that we want to be a part of. I'm kind of like, but they're not doing wrong either.
Well, it's just, it's funny too, because Natalie Edmondson talked on the last episode that we just had about some of the feedback that she gets. And when you read through some of that, you're like, it's very obvious these people have no idea what the Bible says. Yeah. But by George, they feel strongly about what they don't know.
They do. Yeah. That's what's sad, though.
Perfect way to put it. I mean,
it's terrible,
It's like we hit on it there. All this stuff about, the way you should dress and all these standards. Mm-hmm. It's just that they've taken something and made it a law when it's not.
Right.
And then if you question, if you want to question the way, then you're rebellious. You got a rebellious spirit.
Because, Natalie even hit on that today. Like, she actually shared something, and I shared it because it was good. And she was talking about how certain things, like if you have independent thinking, just if you think outside the normal way of thinking and then you dared to mention it, you were a bad person. You were shunned because you had the guts to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you couldn't even ask a question, basically.
No, you couldn't question anything.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Well, I'll give you an example. So she has a thing on her on the Berean Holiness Instagram account where she has posted different responses that she's gotten. And I remember when I asked her if she still got flack, she laughed in my face. Mm-hmm. And then, told us about some of it. Yeah. Well, I got to poke around on their Instagram account, and there's some here. So she had posted something about basically going against things women can't be a part of according to this logic. So logic's talking about because modesty in a skirt without pants under it is not guaranteed. So I'm not sure exactly what post she's referring to, but we always heard the woman that wears pants is sinning, right? Mm-hmm. It's not true. And so she was making an argument for that.
Right.
She's like, no, you can do this. And they would always say, well, you can be modest in a skirt and do everything. I'm like, yeah, ask Marilyn Monroe when she stood over that subway grate, dude.
Yeah.
One of the most popular pictures ever.
But anyways.
Yeah.
She's got a wall mural of that.
Yep.
So she listed.
Yeah, ask the lady that horseback riding, huh? Huh?
Oh, they would always say, well, back in the 1800s. It's like, yeah. If you have to go back 200 years ago, reference.
I don't think it still works.
Yeah.
Back in the 1800s, they had divided skirts, which are basically women pants.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Like,
Pirate
that makes
pants.
no sense.
Yeah. Pirate pants.
Palazzo pants.
So she put a thing on here talking about things that you really can't do and guarantee that you're going to be modest in a skirt, like swimming, biking, rappelling, ziplining, stuff like that. She got a big list here.
Yeah.
And so one of the responses she got said, I believe this post falls under the part of the Bible that talks about the great deception. Yes. Our hearts must be right if we as ladies can't do something modestly in a skirt like the Bible says. Yes.
Dear.
Do you remember that passage, Jonathan, in the book of Mark where it talks about women must always wear skirts?
and that part of the Bible pertains exactly to this situation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It's very clear.
It's super clear right here, guys. I mean, there's no room for question, guys. Just follow the guidelines.
If we as ladies can't do something modestly in a skirt like the Bible says, then we shouldn't do it at all. I will never compromise scriptural holiness. What does scriptural holiness have to do with what you just wrote?
Yeah. And I'm sure it was all in all caps. Like, I will
never.
I do see some caps on there. Like a couple.
I will never compromise scriptural holiness and my relationship with Jesus Christ for something my flesh desires to do.
Flesh desire.
You sound like
my flesh desires.
Desires of the flesh.
It is a very dangerous place to be when we go against Scripture and don't feel guilty. God be with us. And then she put Proverbs.
Canaan is no longer with us.
I'm sure he'll be back here in a minute.
He accidentally
It'd be awful if he died.
Aw, poor Caden.
We're just sitting here waiting on him.
He's calling back.
Dude, was you getting under convictions? That way you had
Aww, he was going to go make sure his wife didn't have
worldly flesh desire something.
I'm not sure what happened. My bad.
Was your flesh desiring?
My flesh desired.
Then this lady posted.
So I expired.
Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Pull that up, miss. Let's see how bad this is taken out of context.
Okay, so Proverbs.
Thankful to be in a true church.
A true church.
The true church.
True church. The only true church.
He's like the Dwight Schrute.
Yes.
Is that in your home or is that in your vehicle?
What's that?
A true church. Would that be in your home, your vehicle, outside? What is
obviously, it's wherever the preacher says it is.
Yeah, it has to be a house of God. It has to be a structure.
It can't be in a home. It has to be in a designated place.
Canaan, quite frankly, I'm concerned about your soul.
I was misguided. See, I thought we were the church. I'm a little misguided. My bad.
No, never.
Yes, you are misguided. You should
read the word.
Because it's very clear on the subject.
Do you not listen in church? Do you not listen in church whenever the preacher preaches?
Well, the past 17 weeks has been football, so I've been watching that mainly through.
She finished up with thankful to be in a true church where standards are taught as well as the scriptural principles that back them up.
Okay, so wait, you said
right.
Proverbs what? 3?
Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6.
Okay, so
Oh my gosh. Really?
I'm not one to debate with people, especially over politics. But this is something I would honestly like to sit down with one of these people.
I would too.
And be like, all right, take me through this.
Yeah.
But that they would end up reverting to like how people do with politics. Oh, well, you're just trying to kick back. You're just trying to
racist.
Yeah. You're racist against the church.
Your rebellious spirit.
Yeah. And that's what it's going to come back to. It's like, no, just like with politics, I'm literally wanting to find out your views and why you believe that.
Well, and is serious as a judge. The way that people win political arguments by calling somebody a racist, this brand of religion, of Christianity, wins it by calling you a compromiser.
Yes.
Yep.
So they whip out the old compromise word, and then everybody cowers down because they're like, "Oh, I'm not a compromiser. Good Lord,
no,
it's just like saying you're a Nazi.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so Proverbs 3, 5, and 6
Yeah, read me that.
Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm. It says no skirt or no pants, right?
I'm sure it says no pants.
Yeah, it's very clear.
To be worn by a woman ever. Okay, it says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
Okay, go ahead and read the part about pants. And
It's not
Make sure you
there.
read that part twice.
It's not there. It is not there.
Imagine that.
But I tell you what, we could get something that would say more about women wearing pants if we went to the book of Boogalooshans.
Okay. Okay, so I want to know, can I acknowledge the Lord while wearing pants?
Of course.
Obviously not, because it says it right there in that passage of scripture that pertains to that case.
Haven't you been reading that? Come on now.
It said right there, no pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Said it right there. And what you just read.
What?
Now, part of this is kind of funny because I just watched that movie, A Million Ways to Die in the West, last week.
Oh, dude, great movie.
And the preacher's up there preaching, and he's preaching against freak raisers.
Yeah.
And he said, and like after he got done, he said, and that comes out of the part of the Bible that pertains to that case. That is exactly what these CHM people do.
That wasn't in that movie. That was a service of Clinton Camp.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, that's exactly what it is. Like, comes out of the part of the Bible that pertains to that.
Dude, I'm going to use that from now on. Where are you getting that from? Where it says it?
Where it says it in the Bible that pertains to the case.
Do you know, I've heard my pap say many times, he sat through, and this was a preacher that he had high esteem for. And he said that this preacher preached for I don't know how long, that it was wrong for you to have an inside dog. And he used some kind of verse in the Bible, obviously out of context, something about where it says dogs are without. And so he went on a rant from the way it sounded, a very long period of time. And then when he got done, he said, I never did really like dogs anyway. It's like, oh.
Which is stupid. It makes no sense.
So obviously we know where your opinion's coming from. What'd you find, John?
Revelation
Wow, that's
22:15.
Revelation 22:15. What's it say?
For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and adulterers and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Like, that's the only part in the Bible that...
Without where, though? Like, without of... or with... Is it even talking about a place? I mean, I guess we could get an actual English translation of the Bible on here.
So, I don't know, this might not be the same place, but this is all that come up whenever I search it on the Bible, the King James Version thing.
Yeah.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and adulterers and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Okay, so it's obviously talking about...
You can't have a dog in the house. I mean, that's what it said. I mean, it says right here,
Yeah.
The whoremongers and the adulterers have dogs in the house.
Well, can I call him a false teacher because it said they're without the gates of the city? You shouldn't even have him in town, dude.
Oh, man. Oh.
You know, it bothers me how these people compromise.
You compromisers.
Yeah. Having dogs in town and such. I mean, what's next?
I'm going to marry a pink cat.
Oh my God.
Children out of wedlock.
Why don't we go through? Let's read one more that she got. From what I read of the lady's testimony today, I feel like she wanted to wear pants more than she wanted a move of God. So the Holy Ghost, being the gentleman that he is, gave her what she wanted the most. God does not make you live a holy life. It is a choice, and he will give you over to a reprobate mind.
Okay, no. Where though does it say in the Bible that wearing a skirt is holiness? Is a picture?
You just read it in Proverbs there a little bit ago.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean,
oh my God,
is that not what it said?
It will give you over to a reprobate mind and let you do as you please. It just depends on which one you desire the most, the world or God. That's why in today's generation, they can have premarital sex, they can live in adultery, they can drink alcoholic beverages.
So right there, that is like, who calls it alcoholic beverages anymore?
No one.
You either call it beer, you call it liquor. You know,
we call it spirit.
Cold beer.
Cool beer.
So therefore, Jesus was an alcoholic because he made the best wine. So
listen, we don't think that far into it. Just leave that be.
No, it was grape juice.
Take it by faith.
It was grape juice. I mean, it says it very clearly.
Yeah, that's why the alcohol.
Jesus turned the water into grape juice.
Yep.
I don't know who changed it to wine, but they were wrong.
Yeah, somebody obviously messed it up.
Take that out. That was not appropriate.
And it was so important that they said, and that was the first miracle Jesus ever did.
Well, but don't you know it said in there that the guy that had the wedding going on come and was like, "Hey, we're out of grape juice, dude." Yeah. This is a strong perversion of scripture that we're going into here. But so let me continue with what you say. They can drink alcoholic beverages and still think they're Christians. Yeah, we got to go back to biblical principles, and we need to get back to holiness.
Okay, so real quick, are they trying to hit on her a lot because they think she wears pants all the time?
Well, she herself even said she wore pants like 10% out of the time, and she wears skirts 90% of the time.
Yeah,
but you know what? 10% of people are also in hell, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh!
I'm obviously we're joking.
Are they hitting on her like crazy on the pants thing?
Yes, they are. That's what
it sounds like. They're trying to attack her and say if she really wanted to mind God, she'd be wearing skirts and not questioning this.
So, what about everything else? What about her leaving the church? What about makeup? What about jewelry? Mm-hmm. No, it sounds to me like they're just constantly hitting on the pants.
Well, that's a good pants. I don't know. Here's the problem. We think that a lot of other people think rationally. And that's our first mistake.
Yeah, for real.
And I know I don't mean that to sound arrogant and crazy because I don't mean
no, but it's true though.
There's a difference though between thinking rationally and being smart. We can think rationally, but we ain't smart.
That is very true.
It's now a good time for me to say, I'm smart.
Here's another one she got.
I'm going to notice that.
No, she said that was my favorite line from last week's episode. Missy just like, I'm smart.
And that's why I said it's now a good time for me to say that.
Yes.
And you just
say it again, Miss.
Oh, okay.
Say it again. I need to make a clip out of it. Go ahead, say it.
I'm smart. You can do it with the other one. I'm smart.
Spelled S-M-A-H-T. Smart.
Smart. Okay, just so we're clear here, it says that Jesus took, okay, you ready for this? 20 to 30 gallons of water and turned it to wine. So Jesus made 20 to 30 gallons of wine. That's
yes.
a lot.
Man, that sounds like a party to me, boy.
Now, that's a good wedding, man.
Let me be clear about that. What does the Bible condemn over and over and over again? Drunkenness.
Right.
Okay. Alcoholism. Usually
premarital sex.
Right.
Usually in the same passages that it condemns drunkenness,
right,
it also condemns gluttony. However, let's leave that one alone. As most preachers
we don't want
do.
to talk about that.
Yeah. You're 500 pounds and you have to buy the biggest suit ever and but you're like, just go ahead and just shove the food in my face.
But let's go back Right. But let's go back to the drunkenness for a minute. So it's wrong. So I do not believe that Jesus made this, what'd you say, 30 gallons?
Up to 30. It says 20 to 30.
And was like, here, dude, drink it all, to like 3 people. Because he wouldn't have convinced anybody to sin. So therefore, and this was a big wedding. It was huge. So therefore, they're running out of wine. All right, here. Can we have what? I mean, I don't think, does it say how many people were there?
I got it pulled up here. Like I was going to read this just so that we, kind of.
The passage from
Go ahead.
So
and this is from Oh, wait, no, this is NIV. Whoa, we can't use this.
Lord.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, man, we can't use this.
How about
Hang
that?
on a second.
Heaven forbid we understand what it said.
Oh,
I need to dial that one
Okay.
back.
no, that was good. That was good, dude. Hit it wide open.
Okay. All right, so here's King James verses. John 2, verse 2 through 10.
All right. Hit me.
And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there, and both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece.
Because we all know what firkin is.
Yeah, exactly. Can somebody translate this?
So that stands for either 10 gallons. Is
Was that a truck just went by?
Yes.
something happened weird?
That,
Yeah,
Wow.
so 2 or 3 measures or firkins.
Y'all
I
keep-
think is what it was.
Keep it up. I'm
Said
going to
about
grab
10
my other one in
gallons.
here too. So keep reading that and then we'll compare it to
10 gallons. I have all the different translations in my app.
I don't trust yours. Yours ain't
Yeah, but it says 10 gallons or 35 liters was the 2 or 3 measures, which is like what, firkins? I think it's what it's called.
yeah. Firkins.
F-I-R-K. Firkins in the Bible stands for 9 gallons, a firkin. So how many firkins was it?
2 or 3.
So there were 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Okay, so let's just go with 2. Okay, so 2 times 9
got 18
is
gallons.
18 gallons per firkin. And how many firkins were there?
2 or 3.
Oh my gosh.
So he made at least 18 gallons
He
of
had
wine.
made at least 18 gallons of wine. That's crazy.
Okay, so it goes on to say,
Where you at real quick?
John 2, 1
right.
through 11.
And my-
Okay, go ahead.
so it goes on and says, Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he saith unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast, and they bear it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, he knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew. The governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now.
This is out of the ESV, which is my favorite translation. On the third day, there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus also was invited to the wedding with his disciples.
Right?
When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to him, They have no wine. And Jesus said to her, Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come. His mother said to the servants, Do whatever he tells you. Now there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, Fill the jars with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast. So they took it. When the master of the feast tasted the water now become wine and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the master of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, Everyone serves the good wine first, and when people have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now. This, the first of his signs, Jesus did at Cana in Galilee, and manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. It does not say that it was non-alcoholic. And in fact, when you go back to the Greek manuscripts that we have, if I'm not mistaken, and I will double check myself and on this, but I've looked into this several times. It was, the Greek word was, I think, oinos is how you pronounce it, and it was a term used for alcoholic wine.
Well, but see, you're not reading the King James Version there. That's why, that is the reason why it don't say grape juice.
Yes.
If you went and got, because the other King James translations don't work. It has to be the King James version.
Yeah, 1611, dude.
I want to know what the Greek version said. That'll be something really interesting.
No. You don't need it. You have the King James.
Exactly.
It's even better.
You don't need the original when you have the translation.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know that there are people that listen that feel pretty strongly about the King James thing.
And that's fine.
This is all in
We're not arguing
good humor.
with them.
I'm not trying to, obviously we like to have fun.
Right.
But back to what we were talking about. So, yeah, it doesn't say it was non-alcoholic. And in fact, there's different times in the Bible. What was that time when Paul told Timothy, he's like, no longer drink only water, but have a little wine for your stomach's sake and your frequent ailments? Because the water was full of probably actually crap.
Yeah.
It had disease and stuff in it. And obviously Timothy was having some trouble. But some of these things, man, they're twisted, out of proportion. Now, does that mean, thus saith the Lord, all Christians must drink alcohol? No, it does not. What that does for me is gives me leeway with somebody else that says, yeah, I'm in. Obviously, if anybody's listening to this with any kind of attention, they're going to be like, okay, they brought up alcohol, laughed at people that didn't drink, and then just shut the show off. Where does that leave me in my personal walk? So
it's called Read Your Bible. If you have a conviction against it, for we do have friends.
Now we sound like them.
No,
if you think you can wear pants, you just need to read the Bible.
Oh,
Get back in the Bible and you'll see right over there in Proverbs where it says that you cannot
Wear pants and be a
Well, the Bible says if you have a problem, just drink wine and you can forget this problem.
See? That is also... there it is, loophole. That is also out of context. So what I will do, I know the RFP, Recovering Fundamentalists, they did like 4 parts on this.
Uh-huh.
They went deep on it. They talk about what the Bible actually says about alcohol, and then they also do it responsibly and talk about the dangers of alcohol, because obviously there's dangers.
Yes, absolutely.
And here's another argument that I do not think holds water. So people will say, why don't you try telling me or try telling the child of an alcoholic who has been abused, or when dad gets drunk or there's no money for food, one of the parents is drinking up all the money and there's no food and they went hungry. Mm-hmm. And I've heard this argument. Try telling that kid that it's not a sin to drink alcohol.
Right.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
A powerful argument, right? An emotional one. It appeals to your emotions. Try telling a rape victim that sex is not a sin.
Yeah. I mean, it's different.
We would all agree. Once you get, sex inside of marriage, it's fine. But it's the same argument. Somebody that's been sexually abused, well,
it's different.
They just...
Like, we had this discussion earlier. Like, we were talking about a friend of ours, and you're like, this person doesn't even drink. And we're like, knowing their history and knowing what they came from, do you blame them? Because, like, whenever you have people, for example, they've, like you said, they've either suffered depression or they have, like, really bad PTSD, they came from the military, whatever it is, if you have issues, drinking becomes a loophole. And it's dangerous for certain ones.
Everybody.
It is not for everyone, exactly.
And some people obviously have the personality that they need to stay away from it.
And they know that they need to stay away from certain things because I
would say most people.
Makes them ugly, makes them, mean, like whatever it is. Yeah. We all have different reasons why we should or should not be eating those French fries.
But the point I'm trying to make, or you can take that argument even farther. Try telling the kid whose dad just died of a heart attack that having a whole Little Caesars pizza feels guilty. Try telling them who's without a dad that fast food is. You see what I mean? This argument can be used 1,000 ways.
Yes.
Just because somebody that's a sinner took something that God meant for good and completely twisted it and did something evil with it, that does not make the original thing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But anyways.
It's true.
Well, I'll link to RFP's episodes on that as well.
Okay.
And there's some other really good. I know Mike Winger has done some really good stuff on Christians and alcohol use. He actually said that's one of the things that kind of started him down the path of leaving the real hardcore fun.
Right.
He said he started looking into the topic of alcohol as somebody that believed that it was a sin to drink alcohol. And he said, I started reading the Bible, and he said, the Bible changed my mind, which is exactly what you would want to happen.
Yes.
If you're so.
Yeah.
So we'll link to some of that, and you can go down that rabbit hole and not take us as your final authority. Thank you for listening to the Hillbilly Broadcast. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you didn't, and you really want to get us back, go to wherever you listen to this podcast and give us a 5-star review. That will drive me personally insane with anger. If you'd like to send us a voice message, you can go to anchor.fm/PhilSparks, where you can also become a supporter of the show if that's something that you're into. If you would like to send us an email, you can send that to hillbillybroadcast@aol.com. That's right. We may or may not still be stuck in the early 2000s. You can also find Hillbilly Broadcast on Facebook, and I am on Twitter @ThePhilSparks. Again, thank you for listening. I love you. The good Lord loves you. And we'll see you next time.